Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a scenario that, well, none of us ever truly wants to face. What if a medical emergency, like a stroke or maybe a heart attack, strikes and you are completely alone? For many, especially if you're over 60, this thought can be profoundly unsettling. But here's the crucial insight we'll uncover today. There are actually incredibly powerful yet simple actions you can take immediately, even when help isn't right there. Actions that can drastically boost your chances of survival. Our mission in this deep dive is to sift through the information out there and pull out the most vital nuggets of knowledge. We want to offer truly practical, actionable advice. This isn't just theory, it's about empowering you, to take control in a crisis, potentially saving your own life or minimizing long-term effects. And listen closely, because what we're going to share, particularly in the final segment of this deep dive, well, it could be the most critical information you hear today. You'll definitely want to stay with us until the very end for that. And before we jump in, just a reminder to subscribe for more deep dives into complex topics that really matter. Okay, so let's start unpacking this. When we talk about surviving a stroke or a heart attack, the absolute most critical factor isn't just what happens.
Right. But when you get help, every passing moment without treatment,
Yeah.
it just increases the risk of irreversible damage
Yeah.
to your brain, to your heart tissue. It truly is a race against the clock.
Absolutely. And what's often overlooked is the insidious way these emergencies can, begin. For a stroke, you need to watch for sudden confusion, maybe trouble speaking, or even understanding what's being said. Or that unexplained numbness or weakness, particularly down one side of your body. With a heart attack, the signs can range from that typical chest discomfort to more subtle things like unexplained shortness of breath, a sudden cold sweat, or maybe just feeling dizzy all of a sudden. These aren't minor signals, they are your body basically screaming for attention.
Yeah, but despite knowing these signs, many people, and maybe especially older adults, they wrestle with these really powerful psychological barriers.
Yeah.
There's that moment of hesitation, right? That tendency to dismiss mild symptoms as, I don't know, indigestion or just being tired.
And then there's the fear of embarrassment, that thought of, oh, I don't want to bother anyone, or maybe overreacting by calling for help. It's a very human response, but incredibly dangerous, isn't it?
It absolutely is. This reluctance, it often stems from what psychologists sometimes call normalcy bias. The tendency to assume things will just keep going as they always have, even when there are alarming signs. It's natural to hope symptoms will just pass, but that hope, if you don't check it, can lead to really deadly delays in getting emergency help. Learning to trust your intuition, to recognize when something is truly off with your body and then respond decisively, that's a profound act of self-preservation. It's a mindset shift, really. It can transform you from someone just waiting for an outcome into an active agent in your own survival story.
We saw this crucial shift in James, a 73-year-old retired teacher. He was just enjoying his morning paper like any other day. When he felt a sudden, really distinct numbness in his face and weakness in one arm, instead of just brushing it off as a senior moment, James immediately dialed emergency services right away. His swift, decisive action meant he got early treatment, and it led to a truly remarkable recovery. He managed to bypass those psychological roadblocks.
James's experience really highlights the non-negotiable step: thorough symptom education. Know the signs for both stroke and heart attack like the back of your hand. Seriously. And mentally prepare yourself to act immediately, without hesitation. Keep emergency numbers really accessible, maybe by the phone, on the fridge. And seriously, consider medical alert device, especially if you live alone. This isn't just about knowing things. It's about cultivating a survival mindset that prioritizes immediate decisive action, particularly when you might find yourself alone.
Okay, now picture that really terrifying reality of a crisis striking when you are completely by yourself. It's a paralyzing thought, isn't it? But here's the empowering truth. You are not powerless. There are practical, potentially life-saving techniques you can initiate right away to protect your heart and brain while help is on the way.
One of the most interesting and sometimes misunderstood techniques is this idea of self-administered cough CPR. Now, it's vital to understand its very specific application. This isn't for general resuscitation like you see on TV. It's a highly targeted maneuver for a very brief, acute moment when you feel a sudden, distinct, abnormal heart rhythm like something called ventricular tachycardia, just as you might feel like you're about to lose consciousness. The idea is that forceful, deep, repeated coughs temporarily increase the pressure inside your chest. And this pressure kind of mimics external chest compressions, helping to maintain that crucial blood flow to the brain for just those precious seconds. It's really a bridge. It's designed to keep you conscious long enough to make that critical call for help. It is not a substitute for proper medical intervention.
Okay, that distinction is really important.
Very important.
And the power of this kind of preparation, this specific knowledge, is perfectly illustrated by Helen, a 78-year-old grandmother living alone. One afternoon, she experienced a sudden heart attack. She actually remembered the specific circumstances for cough CPR from a health seminar she'd attended, so she immediately started coughing forcefully while she was dialing 911. Her steady, informed action helped her stay conscious, helped stabilize her until help arrived. It's really a testament to how specific, targeted knowledge can truly be a lifeline.
Exactly. And beyond something specific like cough CPR, simple controlled breathing exercises play a crucial supporting role. When you're under that kind of duress, panic can just surge, right? Increasing blood pressure and oxygen demand on a system that's already struggling. By focusing on deep, slow breaths like inhaling slowly through your nose, maybe holding for a few seconds, then exhaling gently through pursed lips, you actually activate your body's calming system, the parasympathetic nervous system. This helps calm that panic, reduce your heart rate, and improve oxygen saturation. All absolutely vital when your heart is struggling.
I can almost hear some listeners thinking, though, but what if I do it wrong? What if I somehow make things worse?
Yeah, that's a common fear.
But the reality is, in a crisis like this, the risk of doing nothing, well, it far, far outweighs the risk of attempting these simple techniques. Mentally and physically practicing these simple responses regularly, even just thinking them through, can build confidence and reduce that paralyzing fear. It makes them almost second nature when, God forbid, a genuine crisis hits.
Mhm. The purpose here isn't to turn you into a paramedic overnight. Far from it. It's about empowering you to be proactive, to take immediate, simple actions that can protect your life during a moment of extreme vulnerability. This preparedness can significantly increase your chances of survival and, importantly, recovery, buying that crucial time until professional help arrives.
Okay, let's shift our focus a bit to another critical challenge, particularly for seniors. Recognizing those early warning signs, quickly and accurately, because so often subtle symptoms get ignored or they get attributed to, oh, I'm just getting older, or some other chronic condition they already have, and this delay can be fatal.
Right. And connecting this to the bigger picture, knowing what to look for is obviously paramount, but so is really understanding your own body. What's normal for you? For a heart attack, yeah, there's the classic chest pain, but it might also be a mild but unusual discomfort in your chest, or unexpected shortness of breath, sudden weakness, maybe a cold sweat, or nausea that just comes out of nowhere. For a stroke, it could be a fleeting numbness or weakness, maybe just momentary confusion, difficulty speaking a simple sentence, or a sudden severe headache that feels totally unlike any other headache you've ever had. These symptoms can be subtle at first, but they are always urgent, especially if they're new or just feel different for you.
Think about Carl, another example, a 75-year-old retired teacher. One quiet morning, he felt this mild but distinctly unusual discomfort in his chest. Instead of just brushing it off, Carl, because he'd learned the importance of listening to his body, he sat down immediately. He focused on steady breathing, and he called emergency services right away. His prompt action was absolutely vital in that moment.
Kara's quick thinking really highlights the nuance here, doesn't it? It's not just about memorizing a checklist of symptoms from a pamphlet.
Hmm.
It's about developing an awareness, understanding what's normal for you, and crucially, what isn't. Especially when you have other chronic health issues. New or subtle symptoms can be so easily dismissed. Oh, it's just my arthritis acting up or something like that.
Right.
But Carl's prior education, attending those health workshops, it empowered him to differentiate and take that swift, decisive action, that personal awareness. It very likely saved his life.
There's also a powerful psychological shift that happens, I think, when you can actually name what might be going on inside your body. You move from that state of confusion and maybe panic to a place of, okay, clarity and action. It helps overcome that paralyzing fear. It's about being able to tell yourself, okay, this feels like it could be a stroke, or this might be a heart attack, and then immediately putting a plan into motion.
Precisely. And once those warning signs are recognized, the immediate response is paramount. Don't hesitate. Don't wait to see if it gets better. Call 911 or your local emergency number immediately. Describe your symptoms as clearly and simply as possible. Remember, paramedics can begin life-saving treatment on the way to the hospital. Every single minute truly does count. Acting early, even if it feels a bit inconvenient or slightly embarrassing, what if it's nothing, is absolutely vital. Your life is priceless. Don't gamble with it.
So we've covered recognizing symptoms and some immediate self-help actions. But your immediate body positioning and the way you breathe can also dramatically influence your chances of survival. These simple physical adjustments can potentially ease symptoms, improve oxygen flow, and crucially, reduce stress on your heart and brain while you're waiting for help.
Right. Proper positioning during a cardiac or stroke emergency as well, it's really crucial. If you're experiencing chest discomfort or shortness of breath, sitting upright or even leaning slightly forward, maybe resting your elbows on your knees if you can, that can significantly relieve pressure on your lungs and heart. It just makes it easier to breathe. Now, if you feel dizzy or lightheaded, definitely sit or lie down to prevent a dangerous fall. That's key. But it's generally important to try to avoid lying completely flat on your back unless you absolutely have to, as this position can sometimes make breathing difficulties worse, especially with heart issues.
Okay, that makes sense. Leaning forward helps open things up. Let's go back to Helen, the 78-year-old grandmother we mentioned earlier. When she experienced that sudden weakness from her mild stroke alone at home, she was understandably scared. But she remembered advice from a community health seminar. She sat down, she leaned slightly forward, and she took slow, deliberate breaths. This simple, informed adjustment helped her breathe easier, it reduced her dizziness, and vitally, it helped her maintain some calm until the paramedics arrived. It just shows how these small actions can have really big impacts.
Absolutely. And elaborating on those controlled breathing techniques, it's often about inhaling slowly and deeply through your nose, maybe holding that breath for just a few seconds, and then exhaling gently and slowly through pursed lips, like you're blowing out a candle really gently. This method isn't just about getting more oxygen in, although that's important. It actively engages something called the vagus nerve, which helps calm your entire nervous system. It reduces that feeling of panic. It can help lower your heart rate, all critical functions, to try and stabilize your body during a crisis. Panic itself can make the physical situation worse. So maintaining composure is key to clear thinking.
And the psychological benefit of doing these things, focusing on position, focusing on breathing, that can't be overstated, can it? Fear and panic are such natural responses during emergencies, but they can lead to poor decisions or even just physical exhaustion. By consciously focusing on your body position and your breathing, you instill a vital sense of control, a sense of calm, even in a terrifying situation. And this greatly improves your ability to think clearly, to communicate effectively when help arrives, and to act decisively beforehand.
Mhm. And regular practice, even just visualizing these steps, builds that crucial muscle memory. So in moments of actual crisis, these potentially life-saving responses become almost automatic rather than something you have to struggle to remember. And just to bring this all together, having your phone within arm's reach, ideally with emergency numbers pre-programmed on speed dial, is an essential companion to these physical strategies. Combining these techniques, positioning, breathing with prompt communication, buys precious time. It can reduce complications and significantly increases your chances of survival. These are fundamental first steps to support your body when immediate professional help isn't right there.
Okay, you've made it to what we genuinely believe is the most critical part of this entire deep dive. For a stroke or a heart attack, especially when you're alone, time isn't just a factor, it is literally survival. It's everything. Early recognition and immediate decisive action are often the sole difference between life and death, or between a full recovery and lasting, perhaps debilitating, damage.
Let's just quickly summarize those most urgent signs again, because seconds count and repetition helps. For a heart attack, remember chest pain or pressure, could be squeezing, fullness, shortness of breath, nausea, feeling lightheaded or dizzy, pain radiating maybe to the arms, neck, or jaw. For a stroke,
Hmm.
think fast, face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911. So sudden numbness or weakness, especially on one side, sudden confusion, trouble speaking or understanding, vision difficulty in one or both eyes, sudden trouble walking, dizziness or loss of balance. Any of these symptoms are always urgent. Do not downplay them. Do not wait.
And this is where the danger truly lies, and, well, tragically, where many older adults sometimes fall into a fatal trap. Dismissing these critical symptoms, thinking it's just normal aging or maybe less serious issues like indigestion or fatigue. That mindset that, oh, it's just a part of getting old, can lead to devastating, irreversible consequences.
So let's be really clear why early recognition is so incredibly vital. It's because the most effective treatments we have, things like clot-busting drugs, often called TPA for stroke,
Yeah.
or emergency surgery to restore blood flow to the heart or brain. These are incredibly time-sensitive. They are most potent, most effective when they're administered within the first few hours, sometimes even just the first hour of symptom onset. Every single minute that passes without treatment, particularly in a stroke, can lead to millions of brain cells dying. Millions. Delaying medical care drastically increases the risk of permanent heart or brain damage, severe disability, or even death. Time is tissue. Time is life.
Think about Robert, a 72-year-old man. He experienced this unusual fatigue and a mild kind of uncharacteristic chest discomfort while he was alone at home. Instead of brushing it off, Robert, armed with the knowledge of early recognition, maybe he heard something like this deep dive called emergency services right away. Because he acted so quickly, doctors were able to administer critical treatment that minimized the damage to his heart and ultimately saved his life. His immediate, clear-headed action made all the difference in the world.
Absolutely. And developing a practical plan, especially for seniors living alone, is just essential. This includes having emergency phone numbers readily accessible, maybe programmed into your phone, posted visibly. Maybe even practicing how you would describe symptoms clearly and concisely to a dispatcher. It sounds simple, but in a panic, it helps. And consider pre-alerting trusted neighbors or friends to your personal emergency plan. Just letting them know, hey, if X happens, this is what I'll try to do. Being proactive like this can dramatically speed up the arrival of help and significantly improve your outcomes.
Let's just circle back one more time to those psychological barriers we talked about. That fear, that denial, and that very understandable reluctance to trouble anyone.
Yeah.
This mindset, while maybe rooted in politeness or independence, can put your health at grave risk. We really need to fundamentally reframe this in our minds. Asking for help in an emergency is not a weakness. It is an incredible strength, and it is absolutely crucial for your survival.
Ultimately, your best defense against finding yourself in a solo medical emergency and having a bad outcome is preparing yourself to act decisively and without delay. This means continuous education about symptoms refreshing your knowledge, regular health checkups with your doctor to understand your personal risks, and building that mental and emotional readiness to act. This knowledge and readiness aren't just about avoiding panic, they're about truly understanding what your body might be telling you and responding swiftly to protect your health and potentially extend your life.
We've reached the end of this deep dive, and I think it's become profoundly clear just how crucial it is to be prepared when facing something like a heart attack or stroke alone, particularly as we get older. None of us wishes to imagine being in such a vulnerable situation, of course, but the reality is life can be unpredictable.
Yeah, and while it's completely natural to think, oh, I'm pretty healthy, I don't need to worry about this, or maybe I have family around me most of the time, so I'll probably be fine, life often throws unexpected challenges our way. And sometimes, despite our best hopes and plans, immediate help just isn't right there when you need it the most.
And that's exactly why knowing what to do immediately, recognizing those symptoms early, trying to stay calm, calling for help without delay, and employing those vital self-help techniques like positioning and breathing isn't just important. It is absolutely essential for protecting your independence and, quite frankly, your life. So as you reflect on this deep dive, maybe think about this. What single aspect from today's conversation will you integrate into your daily preparedness? Or perhaps discuss with a loved one starting today?
We truly encourage you to share this deep dive with others who might benefit from this vital information, friends, family, neighbors. And if this deep dive has provided you with valuable insights, please do consider subscribing for more informative and hopefully inspiring content. Thanks for joining us.